Okay, this is day 2 of this van build, this Vauxhall Vivaro long wheelbase camper van conversion, and most of the material has arrived at this point. We have the carpet here, we have there's a fridge down there, insulation, conduit, we have the hob over there. Down this side we've got the foam ready for the rock and roll bed. We've got the windows here, all good. And we have the electrical components over here, and we have the wood to make all of the cabinets and worktops and things down here, and we have all of the sheet material here for the floor and the walls. So we're good to go. Now I'm going to go outside and take a look at the van, and I think the very first thing I'm going to do with this is take the bulkhead out. This will give you a lot more light in the back of the van, and then we'll be able to see what we're doing. It's going to need a clean up, but the first thing, take the bulkhead out. Now the bulkhead in the Vivaro is in 2 pieces, and I'm going to split it in 2 and take out each piece separately because it's quite heavy, all in one. And we essentially have these bolts going through it, up the sides, and we have some rivets here as well. So we'll have to drill these rivets out and take the bolts out. I think these are 13mm bolts, and some of those are like a Torx fitting, so they can either come out with a spanner or Torx bit. So on with the bulkhead. So the best way to go with this is to take the bottom section of it out first. Alrighty, so with these bolts out, the next thing to do is to get these rivets out, and the best bet is going to be to drill them. There they go. And that's it. With the rivets out, there's only a couple of trim clips keeping this on, so pop them off. It's free. Okay, so same again with the top piece. I just want to take these bolts out. There's a couple more rivets holding that on. We'll get this out and then we'll see what we've got. The bulkhead is out. Okay, so with the bulkhead out, the next thing to tackle is these old ply panels, which I think will just be have a few self-tappers going into the frame of the van. Now this panel itself is not in bad condition, so I'm going to keep that and I'll cut it down to make the wall panels once we've got the insulation and everything on here. Alright, so we've got all the panels out, got the panels off the doors, got the panels off the sides of the van. Next thing is to take the floor up. Now the old screw holes can be difficult to find in these floors if there's a lot of crud on them. I think we've got one there. The heads have rusted and makes them a little bit difficult to get out sometimes. But that's okay, we'll get some of them out, and then if we just have to pull the floor away from that, that's what we'll do. There's another one there. Yeah, that one's came out, you see. Okay, so the side piece, I think I've got majorly all of the screws out of that one. There's everything. Yes. So we're just going to have to pull this out, really. There it is. And a little bit more chewing later. We've got the main part of the floor. This is good. And with the floor out, next thing is just to take this trim off. And the sliding door one as well. Alrighty, so we've got the floor out, we've got the wall panels off, and the very next thing to do with this is to clean it. There's quite a bit of grime on here, but this will come off fairly easily. We just need the marigolds on and a good bucket of soapy water, and that should do it. So to begin with, I have a couple of brushes, and I'm just going to get the major crud out of this. Okay, so to start cleaning this, as I say, we've got the major stuff out, but with this van I've noticed there is quite a little bit of plaster dust and things like that, and I have some of this. This is a patio cleaner. I believe it's hydrochloric acid, and it will dissolve all of this built up plaster and cement. So we just want to put some of that on there, let it do its thing for a little while, and then with a little water that will come off easily. And there it is, a good few buckets of water, and a good few hours later the van is relatively clean. Now I say relatively clean, I've got the major stuff off. Obviously before I put insulation or anything like that on, I will give it another going over just to get any residue off there and any grease that may be there. Now, next thing to do, I'm going to take this seat out and put the swivel in whilst there's still plenty of room in the back of the van here. So I think we'll tackle the seat belt first. There's a nut there, and then we've simply got these nuts on each corner of the seat. One here, same on the other side. A little bit of WD-40, a little bit of twisting, and we've got the bolts out. So at this point the seat should simply slide back into the van. And with the seat removed, there's a little bit more grime here, so I'm going to give this a clean. And these pegs are still sticking up out of the floor, and to fit this particular sort of swivel they need to come out, and they are just a Torx bolt, I believe. Okay, I've managed to get the seat out and into the workshop, and with this one, to put this particular type of swivel in, there are these welded onto the seat, and they need to come off. They are used later to put underneath the swivel, just to level it all up. I'll show you when we get to that, but I'm just going to grind these off, one on either side at the back, and then I'll take the opportunity to give the seat a good clean before I put it back in. And there it is. And now we will slide this into place, like so. Now with these seats, the things that we got, the spacers that we cut off at the bottom of the seat, need to go back in there, and then this will bolt through them. Get that in place, looking good. And I believe these back bolts are simply reusing the ones that originally came out of there. Once they're all in position, I'll just go around and really tighten them up. We have the seat back in the van, and the task now is to get it on top of those bolts. A little bit of a struggle, but it's almost there. It was quite a struggle, but it's in. All of the bolt holes are in the right place. We're going to tighten them up. Right, the swivel is in. Trim's back on, put the seat belt back on, and let's test it. And I believe the idea of this is push it forwards, turn it clockwise. And there it is. Okay, so the next thing to do is to get the sound deadening material on here. So I'm just going to get any more dust or anything off this side panel. There it is. And we're going to put a window here, so we don't want any on there. We're going to put a window in the sliding door, and we're going to put two windows in the back. So it's just the panels which are not getting windows. And we have this sticky backed foam type material, and we just want to put a few of them on there to stop the rattles. Okay, so that's the end of day 2 of this particular build, and in our work schedule we can start catching up. We've stripped everything out, this is good. We've taken the bulkhead out, we've taken the trims off, and we've cleaned the back of the van. I've also put the swivel seat in, fixed that back in, and done the sound deadening. Now this has actually been 2 half days, not 1 full day. There's been other calls on my time, but so far so good. Now, if you would like to see the rest of how this van turns out, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and if you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.